Questions for you is how are you going to do questions?
There's a Q&A panel at the bottom. Any of the participants can just put questions in there and we'll field them as they come up.
Okay.
It's like a chat mechanism, essentially.
Okay, great, thanks.
Slowly. We'll give everyone a few seconds here to get in.
Do you know how many people are in right now?
14, and there was a total of 31.
Okay.
But there's a few that also like to, they don't sneak
They
in.
just, yeah, they don't RSVP, they just come in.
Yeah, they get in. So. Okay. So thank you all for coming today. So welcome to today's digital department update with the Department of Mining, Engineering, and Management. This is our first series of the digital departments. We'll be doing these once a month. And then I'd like to introduce you to please welcome our presenter and Dr. Robert Hall. So kick it off.
Thank you. Welcome everyone. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to attend. Give you a bit of an outline of, I'm hoping to speak maybe for 20 minutes and then we can have some open dialogue. And if you have questions as I go through, I think you can put them in the chat format and I can answer them. So welcome. I'm going to give you a little bit of background about me. Most of you probably know that I'm new. Some of you may know that I'm Canadian. Hopefully you don't hold that against me. And then I'll give a department update on some things that are happening, exciting things that are happening and some challenges. I'll also talk a little bit about our industry advisory board. And then we'll talk a little bit about some of the really exciting activities that are happening around the CAT lab, which some of you may have seen the announcement for, as well as the mining hub. And then we'll have some time for questions and discussions. So I started out life in New Brunswick, did an undergrad in mechanical engineering at the University of New Brunswick. Then I went to work in heavy steel construction for Chicago Bridge and Iron's Canadian division for 4 years. Then grad school at Queen's for mechanical engineering. I spent 4 months in Chile working at a El Indio gold mine, for any of you that are familiar with that. It was owned by Placer at the time, I think, or Barrick, I can't remember. Then a PhD in mining at Queen's, did research with Inco, who is now Vale, and then up in northern Alberta on the oil sands. And went to UBC for 15 years as an assistant associate prof, associate dean there. Spent 10 years consulting with Shell up in the oil sands. And then 5 years at U of A as a professor doing research around mining equipment, maintenance, reliability, automation. And then lo and behold, I ended up here. And if you'd asked me a year ago, actually, yeah, a year and a half ago, a year and 6 days ago, because I got the job announcement on the 31st of January about the opportunity here. If I was going to be in South Dakota, I would have never imagined it, but really happy to be here. So I like to let people know that I do more than engineering and being a professor and a department head. So one of my hobbies is flying. So this is my plane on a lake up in Canada. I have my plane here with the skis on it. And of course, there's not a drop of snow for 100 miles anywhere, north, south, east, or west. So it kind of looks kind of silly, but it's still fun to do. And then my other hobby are my mutts or my dogs. So I spend a lot of time with them. And I like to hunt and fish and guns and all this stuff. So South Dakota is a natural fit for me from that point of view. So getting on to the department, we pretty fortunate. Some of you may know Sid Ping. He did a master's here. He came over from Taiwan in '67, did a master's here, then went on to do a PhD at Stanford. Actually, at the time they had a PhD in mining, and then he spent most of his career at West Virginia, world renowned in rock mechanics, especially in the coal industry. So he donated $500,000 to set up a professorship so that we would be able to hire an assistant professor in rock mechanics in the next couple of years. So that's pretty significant for us. And so we're looking forward to hiring that person in the next couple of years. The couple of significant scholarships, we just renewed scholarship relationship with both Newmont and MapTech. MapTech has both have been strong supporters. MapTech also supports us through the providing us software for our computer labs and things like that. So really appreciative of the scholarships. With respect to some of our faculty, some of these you may know or may not know, depending on when you were here. Dr. Bricky received tenure this year, which is a big deal. Means that she's here and we don't have to worry about her leaving unless she wants to. Dr. Allard promoted to senior lecturer, and Mr. Bowen promoted to lecturer. So those, and for me, that was a great way to get to know them because I had to go through all of their paperwork and write letters of support for their promotion. And so it was a great way to get to know them. One of the things that we've done, if you look at the left, for those of you that have been here, it probably doesn't, that's the student lounge when you come up to the top of the stairs and turn right where the Coke machines are. When the CAT lab started, and I'll talk more about that later, Ken Harding, who's the manager from CAT's perspective for the CAT lab, decided he wanted to encourage the students to refresh the student lounge. So the picture on the left is probably what it looked like when some of you were here 20 or 25 years ago. And the picture on the right, oh, sorry, is what the students, they came in on a Saturday and part of a Sunday and painted it, cleaned it all up, and it looks really nice now, and it's getting used a lot more. So really appreciative of the students and Ken and Kat driving that initiative. So a little bit on our student numbers. This kind of shows you the numbers from 2000 up to 2020, total number of students in our program, and you can see that they were quite low in the early 2000s, and they grew, and then they're kind of mixed. And then, so when I put this together, I decided to look at another graph, and the next graph to me was quite alarming, actually. This was as of September 2020, our students enrolled by category, and as you can see, that we're going down consistently in each category, and so that is a major focus for us, for me in the department, and for other people, of how do we get the number of freshmen to come up. And combined with that is we looked at our retention rate or completion rate, and so you can see again from 1998 up to 2016 that other than in the last 10 years, other than 2014, we're about 40%, say, give or take. I believe the schools is about 55 to 58% completion rate. So again, there's something we need to look at from a department's perspective to ensure that once we get the students to come, that we actually keep them here. A couple of years ago, before I got here, we started a business management and technology program that we're kind of supporting from the department, and that is quite popular, and just shows the number of students that are enrolled in that. And they take courses that are both offered to our mining engineering management students and the BMIT students, as well as they take courses from other schools. As you all know, COVID's been a challenge. For example, when I interviewed, it was all virtual here. I never been to South Dakota, never heard of the school actually until I got the job description and accepted the job without having been to South Dakota. And it's been great. It's been everything I would hoped it would be. But it really had an impact on our ability to engage with students. So normally we have a virtual or an in-person explosives camp where we take students to visit the Sanford Underground Research Facility, which is the old Homestake mine. And we go to Pete Lane and we take them out and show them a blast. And we couldn't do that summer of 2020, so we did a virtual camp. We had 30 people participate. We're hoping to do an in-person camp this June. It's already full. It filled up in about 2 weeks. The cap is 15 for the in-person camp. And that kind of leads into, current activities that we're trying to do to get the number of students up and get the students that are here, helping them to be successful. So every student that we've accepted into the mining program at the school level, I personally called over the holidays. Some of them I actually got to speak to, some of them I left voicemails. I emailed them. I hired some of our undergrads to actually reach out to the students as well, so they could get the real skinny and not a story from me, someone like their dad or something. We have been able to give some in-person tours, so we've been following up. We've been keeping a database of who we gave tours to, and then following up with them after to make sure that we encourage them to come. Also offering as many scholarships as we can afford to freshmen. We have a departmental Facebook page. If you're not on it, please get on it and follow us. We'd like to increase the number of people that are following us. We're trying to do weekly updates this term, and we're in the past, we've done some Google and social media advertising. We're revisiting that to see how effective that is. In the local community, we're offering Boy Scout Marriage Badge for mining and society. We're going to do two in March, actually. It's the first time we've done two. We're active with women in science and engineering, youth in science, and we're exploring ways to get more involved with the local school teachers and people like that, so that we can educate them about mining, so they can tell their students about mining. Hopefully, we'll get some more students into the program. Graduate numbers are pretty good. I mean, for those of you that don't know, we started a PhD program in 2016. So really, we're young in terms of a research school, and we have, until I came, we had two professors, Dr. Bricky and PT, or Dr. Tukaraja, I can pronounce his last name, I'm not sure I can pronounce his first name, are our research faculty, and then myself. And so, given that, we're doing quite well in terms of the number of graduate students. We also have a very successful distance graduate program that's a Master's of Science in Management, Mining Engineering and Management, and there's two streams, the management stream or the mining stream, and we have a lot of students from around the world actually that take that. Research dollars, again, we're fairly young, but for the size of our department, we're doing fairly well, and with what's going on with the Cat Lab and the mining hub, that this will double at least in the next couple of years, and probably quadruple or more in the next 5. Some new courses that we've developed to support the BMET program, and they'll be available to other students on campus, are listed here. I will offer the MEM 692 in the fall, maintenance and reliability engineering course related to mining equipment. And we've got a supply chain management course that we're offering in the department. So some of the things that we're working on right now is we need to increase the number of technical electives at the graduate level. So we're moving some courses to the 600 level. The only main consideration for that is that an undergrad wants to take that course, they have to get special permission. It doesn't mean they can't take it. It's just a piece of paperwork that has to be done. We're working on separating the master's track, because currently what happens is our remote students or virtual students take a master's in science or master's in engineering management, and their degree is in mining and engineering management. And some of them that don't have an engineering background and take the management track go out and portray themselves as mining engineers, which is not something we want to happen. For those of you that know Dr. Clicky, he's still around, still being very supportive of the department. Really appreciate his help. Akshay, or Dr. Chowdu, is a recent PhD graduate of Dr. Bricky, and he stepped in to help us with rock mechanics this year because Dr. Lance Roberts has moved on to provost and obviously doesn't have any time to teach. We have a couple of industry adjuncts, Michael Schlumberger, who's teaching the supply chain management, and David Karlinski, who's teaching the sales course for BMET. So at our teams, we have a mining and mucking team, a mine rescue, SME team, and International Society of Explosive Engineers team. They're all practicing and doing what they can, but we can't go anywhere. There's no events being organized, so it's quite frustrating for them that they can't get out and do some actual competitions. So I thought I've just updated this. I have a budget meeting with the president and the provost next week, and some of our top level goals for the department for fiscal year 22, which starts in June of 2021. So under the academic and co-curricular excellence, we want to integrate research and multidisciplinary learning, and this will come in discussion of the mining hub. And we're going to do a curriculum review to make sure that if we are having duplicate material delivered, that it's a conscious decision and not just happening, and maybe identify opportunities where we can add new courses and merge existing courses. On the research, the mining hub and the Cat Lab are the key things that are happening. I'm going to talk about them a bit more in the next few minutes. Outreach and engagement it's been really hard with COVID. And again, I appreciate the alumni office for getting this event together, and you for attending, and hopefully at least we can reach out and connect a little bit. And once the world gets a bit more stable, I can come and actually meet with some of you. So one of the things on outreach is that I want to work with Central from both recruitment and marketing side so that we have a common approach to try to get students to come into the school and into the program. Looking at increasing alumni engagement, and that might be via newsletter, mentoring, getting alumni to mentor junior and senior students, and then they mentor sophomore and freshmen. Campus culture, we want to get our students engaged in both professional and social activities, and then just reinforce the need that we are inclusive and diverse in our program. So those are kind of the high level goals for fiscal year 22. We have a very active industry advisory board. Currently have 19 members, and we meet twice a year. We also have subcommittees. They're a mix of mining companies, equipment manufacturers, and product suppliers. The 3 subcommittees that we currently have are a strategy committee, and that's really targeted at supporting the development of the structure for the mining hub, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. Local engagement / economic development committee. This committee is just trying to get our name out in the community, get some leverage. We're in the process of lobbying the government for $19 million for a new MI building. And it's actually in the legislature right now, and we have to go up next week and present on that. And so this committee has worked really hard on engaging with key decision makers. They create, I don't know, for those of you that saw the mining hub video, they were instrumental in getting that put together as well. And then the industry engagement committee is more looking at how we can better interact with the industry and get more research going. And then just recently, out of the last IAB meeting in October, we formed an associate IAB. And one of the primary goals of the associate IAB is that it's students that have graduated probably in the last 5 to 10 years. And we're hoping they can help us with recruitment and other activities. And one of the persons taking the lead on that sent an email out to 20 of our alumni, and 14 of them stepped up and said they were willing to help. So I met with him last week, and he's meeting with them on Monday. Then we'll follow up. So we're expecting and hoping for good things out of them around recruitment and just getting our name out, because they're working all across the country. So the mining hub. So the mining hub is why I took this job. I was perfectly happy at the University of Alberta. I was teaching in January to April. The rest of the year I could do research and go fish and hunt and whatever. So, but when I got the email from a friend of mine, John Peck in Montreal, some of you might know, it came from Sean to him and said, you're the only one that wants to go to South Dakota and help set up a mining hub and a technology center, because CAT was already investing in a CAT lab here, which I'll talk about. And at that point, I'd never heard of the school, to be quite honest. And I intend to change that in the next 5 years. Once COVID's done, I'll be going to pretty much any conference that I can and making sure people are aware of, and it's already going to happen with what's occurring on the research front. So the vision between them, and this vision was created before I got here. I've helped reshape it a bit, but was to create an opportunity for the School of Mines to be a leader in technology and innovation development, and centralized to do research across the country, across North America, and I've even got visions that we're going to do work around the world. I'm already in contact with an alum that's in Spain that wants to do some student exchange stuff there. So I think it's really exciting times. And so the idea was that Caterpillar was going to be a founding member or one of the initial members, and so that has happened. They have signed a 10-year commitment for a base level of funding, which will grow based on products that are deployed in the US. They're focusing on open pit and underground technology. They, as part of their commitment, they are refurbishing the 1700 level of the Homestake mine. I would guesstimate they're going to spend between $4 and $10 million. They're going to make that a showpiece for their technology, to evaluate their technology or develop it, as well as bring in VPs and CEOs of Caterpillar and mining companies that are interested in the technology. So we're working on that now. They've moved Ken Harding, who's a MEC alum from here. He came out in June from Texas, and he and I have been working pretty much weekly, if not daily, on shaping the hub, and we've got other members involved. The idea behind the Cat Lab and the Mining Hub is we want to leverage all of the capabilities that we have here at the school. So we've got, mechanical engineering has a variety of capabilities around automation and technology and design, computer science around big data, Internet of Things, and analytics. And we're also at the CAT agreement partners with Western Dakota Tech. So we're hoping that we can take and integrate multidisciplinary teams, both from Western Dakota Tech and here, to have the engineers work on the design, the technicians work on actually building things, and have them interact and get that learning experience as part of the process. University of Queensland is also named in as a partner in the Cat Lab Consortium. At this point, I know people at University of Queensland, but we're not doing anything with them yet. So I put this, and just some of you may have heard some confusion or had some confusion if you've heard anything about the Mining Hub and the Cat Lab, and there was some confusion when I first came. They were calling it the Cat Hub, but the reality is that the vision is that the Mining Hub, which is going to be housed at the school, the Cat Lab is one spoke on the Mining Hub, and I put these up and there's probably 20 more we could put up. And the ones in yellow are ones that we're already doing or starting to do. So we have a strong professional development program, and I'll talk a little bit about that on the next couple of slides. We already do training in mine health and safety. Dr. Tukaraja does underground ventilation. So we're doing work on mine health and safety. We're just getting into the critical minerals aspect. And so arguably I've got a student in Canada that's finishing up, that's doing some machine learning applications for haul truck failures to predict failures, but I haven't really, I think that's an area that will be big for us here as well. So the idea around this is that we pull different researchers from different departments as needed to work on a particular project or projects, as well as we hope to get multidisciplinary teams, both at the undergraduate and graduate level, to allow them to be able to experience working in a team environment and working with people from different disciplines to understand the dynamics of those situations and enhance their learning experience, as well as actually solve problems for the industry. So currently, and right now, I've been working with Lee Freeman, and we had a meeting yesterday with the people on the next slide, which we'll talk about, on how to structure membership, because we're looking at a membership level, tiered membership model to allow smaller companies and large companies to participate with a board of directors that would direct the general research, and then also have the capability for companies that wanted to come in and do proprietary or specific research as well. And so the Cat Lab is obviously proprietary, and if you want to participate in Cat Lab type research and technology, you come in via an agreement with Caterpillar. If you want to participate in some or all of these, then you come in via general membership with varying levels, and then we pick which projects we want to focus on initially. So yesterday we had a meeting with Komatsu, FL Smith, Dakota Territory Resources, and Pete Lean, and the 3 department heads. So Dr. West from metallurgy and Dr. Anderson from geological and geology. And that's another selling feature of our school, and our ability to be able to do this research, because we have all 3 programs, will position us to work on some problems that the industry has that other schools might not to. I've also been talking with Amazon and looking at getting them to be part of the data analytics spoke as well. I've reached out to Aviva, and I'm going to reach out to a couple other companies that do the high power computing around AI, and see if we can get them to partner with us. Because one of the things I've heard from various companies is that they hire these computing companies to do their data analysis, but they don't understand mining, so they don't get as much benefit out of it as they could. Also in discussions with MapTech, Hexagon, and I've got a list that I'm going through. I'm just trying to go slowly, because I told a few people when I came, so I took the job in June and moved here in August, and I thought I'd have a year to get the Cat Lab set up before I had to think about the Mining Hub. And then people started asking how to get involved with the Mining Hub. So then it's like, okay, I got to get the Mining Hub sorted out. So that's what I've been focusing on the last few months. So professional development as part of the Mining Hub, we offer, this is basically like a mining 101. We initially offered it under the title of mining practitioner, and it was specific to Caterpillar. Now we're offering it to other companies. Komatsu has already indicated that they're interested in participating in it. and they're open to having other companies participate while their employees participate. I've also had discussions with Mosaic, and Dr. Bricky is running this. I'm just putting it up. If you have any interest in getting involved, contact her. Her contact information is on the bottom, and we can get it to you after. And this one, the benefit of this one is it's completely remote, so your employees don't have to leave the site or wherever they're working. And then we also started an executive mine management certificate, which we haven't offered yet. Again, this started as Caterpillar was looking for alternatives for some of their management training that was being done at another school, and they asked us to put together a proposal. And then they decided to stay with the other schools. So we're going to offer it to anyone that might want to take it. And it's targeted at mid to senior level executives, and it involves field visits and things like that. Again, for people that may not have the mining knowledge that you would like them to have in your organization. We're also hosting the 18th North American Mine Ventilation Symposium this year. We're going to have it virtually. When COVID gets done with us, we're going to actually have the next one here in person. And one of the things that is an outcome, well, it was a need before the mining hub, but the mining hub has kind of really reinforced it. To put it in perspective, just with the CAT investment alone, the base level investment, we're looking at least 3 master's or PhD students, 3 students working year round, and we've hired a research scientist as part of that. And we expect the CAT funding in the next 5 years to probably go up by 10 times. So we already need space, but in the next few years, we're going to dramatically need space. So this is a rendering of a proposed new minerals industry building, and it's going to go behind O'Hara. It's just some diagrams for it. So it's going to go right here, and that's O'Hara. This is existing in my building down here, right there. And there's another view, so it's right in here. And so currently, we have a bill in the South Dakota legislature. It's in the Senate. In the Senate, we have fairly strong support. We've hired a lobbyist. The bill is going before the Education Committee on Tuesday. Dr. Rankin, myself, Dr. Anderson, and Dr. West we're all going up there, and we're going to present to the legislature to convince them that we need the building. And the model that we're looking at is that we're hoping to get $19 million from the government. The university is going to provide 3, and then we need to raise another 12. So we're estimating a $32 million or $34 million building from corporate donors. We have about 2 to 3 million committed from corporate donors as well. And this is just kind of the layout. And one of the ideas is, again, we want to really reinforce this mine to mill type idea that we're, because from characterization to product creation, we have that capability within our evaluation for labs as well as with our researchers. And thank you for coming, and thank you for attending, and thank you for all your support. I've been overwhelmed with the amount of support that the department gets from our alumni. And when the job announcement was made that I was able to come here and get the position, several people reached out to me and offered assistance, and our advisory board has been tremendous. So with that, I'll stop and open up the floor for any questions or discussions, and thank you.
Dr. Hall, there is a question in the Q&A box if you want to.
How do I see the Q&A box?
It's right next to.
Is it the chat? Oh, okay.
Yep, you'll see the one.
Okay,
it's kind of a long question.
Yeah.
So feel free to submit any questions that you might have.
That's a great question. The answer is yes.
The panelists or the participants can't see the question. You might have to reread it just to frame it up for them.
Sure. So I work for the federal government, and mining has a massive public perception issue. Have you considered a recruiting/marketing approach that highlights the essential role mining plays in advancing renewable energy? Have you considered emphasizing our environmental management and sustainable expertise in the department? So that's the question. The answer is yes. And on a different version of that hub, which I couldn't find this morning when I was finalizing this presentation, we have sustainability and environmental reclamation on that as one of the key areas. One of the things that engineering struggles with and mining struggles with specifically is that we don't do well at marketing ourselves. And absolutely, we need to get involved with, and some of the SME is doing it, Canadian Institute of Mining in Canada has been doing it, but we do need to get out in front of people and let them know that the value that mining adds, not only in current recovery of existing metals that are in the ground, but as you said, in renewable energy and recycling. Some of the mines in Canada are using process plants for recycling. Tech Cominco, I think it is. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I need, me being, my area is the technical side, mechanical engineering, but I need to make sure that I emphasize that we are all about sustainable mining and corporate social responsibility, ensuring that we meet the needs of society, but that the earth is still here, that society can continue going. So.
We have another one that came in from Randy Parcel.
Yep.
How has BS hiring placements gone, and what are the average starting salaries for mining BS graduates been for the last couple of years?
So we're basically pretty close to 100%, and it might drop to 93 to 95, and that would be one student not getting a job. So, we're in the 93 to 100% for the last 10 years, actually. And the starting salaries average has been around $67,000 per year. And then I see another, do you want me to read the question, sir? Or do you?
Up to you.
I see another question from Tony Jensen. Can you speak more about the reasons why new student enrollment has fallen, and a bit more about the effort to recruit students? This seems to be absolutely critical to focus on. Tony, you're 100% correct. It's absolutely critical to focus on. The only thing that, and Dr. Roberts, before I came, as you know, was the department head, and he did a fair amount of advertising through social media, through Google and Facebook and things like that. And the only thing that I might be able to suggest is that in the year and a half or so that we had an interim or head that was also the head of geological engineering, that maybe nobody reached out to students. I'm not sure, but so things that I'm trying to do right now, because it's hard to get out and see people, is I'm contacting every student that will talk to me. We currently have, for 2021, we have 19 accepted students into mining. Again, I called all of them. I've emailed all of them. I've offered them all scholarships. In addition to, some of them have university scholarships. Of the school students that are coming, which is an interesting thing, is if you look at the trends for students that are coming to the school, and about 3 years ago, we probably had 100 undecided students that we accepted. 2 years ago, we had maybe 140 that we accepted. This year, we've got over 200 students that we accepted to come into the school that don't know what they want to do. So I'm trying to get as many of them as I can. We have a course that they take where different departments come in and present to them. I actually called one of the undecided students that was on the list, and I think he was confused as to why I was calling. So I decided that might not be, I want students to choose the program that's right for them. And so I'm hoping when we get there, we can get more of them here. But the larger question is, how do we get more students interested? Because what I've heard from this our recruitment office is that we yield about 35% of our students that apply, that we accept. So if we need 20 students in mining to 25, and let's be optimistic and say we can get 50%, we need at least 50 that we accept, and those numbers aren't there right now. So I don't have an exact answer, Tony, but it's the top of my list on priority. The management is definitely a focus of the program. We still have, sorry, another question from Tony Jensen. You haven't spoken about the management component of the program. Is that still a focus? It is definitely a focus. We're offering a good mix of management courses as well as technical courses. So it will continue to be an ongoing focus.
There's a comment that came in from one of the attendees, and they said, not so much a question, but I came into Mines undecided. Sashi took me to see a blast the first weekend. I declared for mining the next Monday. Now I work for an explosive company.
That's awesome. I'm trying to do, if it was a non-COVID time, I'd have a pizza party for the undecided students, right? But we just can't do that right now. So I presented to them, I've emailed them. I probably got 3 or 4 that have come across. So I agree. And Mr. Bauer, who teaches our MEM 120, our Introduction to Mining, his first assignment is to ask the students what led them to come into mining. And 3 of them said it was through personal interaction with one of us, either coming on a visit or seeing something. So so great comment.
Sashi says, Dr. Hall, first, accept my congratulations on doing a fantastic job. One interesting metric would be to see what the % of first year to second year retention and/or conversion rate from other majors to other majors. Exciting to see some great things.
Thanks, Sashi. Really appreciate it. And I've been meaning to reach out to you to connect and have a conversation. But yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, one of the things that's really impressed me about this school, coming from 2 really large schools where we had, engineering at UBC had 5,000 undergraduate students, and U of A is about the same size. The ability for us, the numbers that we were able to track is quite impressive. So those are good statistics to look at. The other thing I would like to do is go back and look at for the students that we've accepted, where they sat in the ACT scores or SAT scores, and see if there's any correlation between those and their success.
Tyler Art says, how does SD Mines compare to other colleges that have mining engineering or number of students, and how are we trying to promote that we're better?
Well, Tyler, we're better, man. All of the schools are going through this downtrend that I just showed you, as far as the number of students and enrollment. The big selling feature is not of the mining department, but of the school is, we've got the best value proposition in terms of cost for the degree. And so we need to leverage that. But the other thing is that, I've been actively, I've got someone from Nevada Gold just joined our advisory board, and our students are well suited to work in the mining industry because they're used to working, most of them. Whereas what I've been told by some companies is that other schools or students don't want to go to mine sites. I heard a story from a colleague this morning that was mechanical engineer from, I won't name the school, but it's close to us. No, went to work on a mine site and he quit after 2 weeks because he thought it was too dirty. So, I think one thing is we do have to figure out how to promote that we are better. And I think we are better in a lot of ways. And we're definitely going to be even better with what's happening with the CAT lab and the mining hub. And if we can get a new building, there'll be, I think, lots of interest.
We had another question says, have you studied professional retention? For example, 5 years after graduation, what is the percentage of students who earn mining engineering degrees from SD Mines still working in the mining industry? Have you considered an alumni survey? Our ability to retain students is connected to our ability as alumni to work in the industry and to connect directly with students.
So, and I think we missed a question above, but, yeah. Sarah, can you do the question up?
Oh, did I accidentally get rid of it?
Yeah, just so, but.
Yeah, it's deal with professional
Yeah.
retention 5 years out.
Yeah, so I don't know how many students stay in mining 5 years out. I don't know if, I suspect a lot of them, but I suspect the ones that don't go into mining right away probably don't get into mining, they go somewhere else. But I don't have any data for that. That's something that Sarah can work on for us.
Mhm.
As in addition to the alumni survey. One of the things that I hope to steal from University of British Columbia and bring here is a mentoring program where we have recent, or our alumni and the formalized mentoring program where our alumni mentor juniors and seniors. Sorry, I still struggle with which one's which. And the juniors and seniors will mentor freshmen or sophomore. And the way it was organized at UBC was we'd have a fall event where people came and they met in person and they met who they were going to be mentoring, and then they would connect at whatever interval they wanted over the year. And that accomplishes a few things. It keeps our alumni connected to us. It keeps our students aware of the opportunities in the industry, and probably also creates opportunities for employment. So I think that's a key, is keeping our, because students don't believe professors. Like, that's why a lot of us bring in industry speakers to our classrooms, so that the industry speaker will reinforce that what we're telling them is actually true. Because sometimes I don't think they believe us. But you're right. We definitely need to work on enhancing our alumni. We have strong relationships with our alumni in several ways, but I'm not sure how well they are connected with our students. And I think there's one from Benkata Kona. Is that, you see that one, Sarah?
Yes. Yep. It says, congrats on joining the school. I'm alumnus of school, graduated in 2018. I'm interested in the mining hub and would like to know a bit more in depth in terms of automation, data analytics, et cetera. I'm happy to help in the development process as much as possible so you can get a young engineer's perspective.
Okay, well, that's awesome. Maybe send me an email. I mean, basically right now it's a blank sheet. For companies that want to participate, they'll decide where on this spoke over here they want to focus, and then we'll go back. Yeah, so happy to have you involved. I don't know if you're part of the Associate IAB, but I can connect you with them as well. Also, so thanks for volunteering, and we're going to put you to work.
And then another one from Kathleen, which is, would alumni coffee break events be seen as beneficial with helping all the students? I know with SME, we try to reach out to the student chapter president, but it seems that the communication falls short. Also, CSM, which has been doing monthly webinars. Have we thought of something like that? Kathleen, so the Alumni Relations Office, we are doing monthly webinars, professional development webinars on different topics. So if you have a topic that you would like to see, feel free to shoot it to me, and then we'll get that going, add it to our list. But I'll let Dr. Hall answer the rest of it.
Yeah, so I guess that's a great suggestion, Kathleen. And to be quite honest, I haven't had time to think about everything. There's so much good stuff going on. But I know both at UBC and University of Alberta, and I think we did here before COVID, SME would have, the student chapter would have monthly or bi-monthly events. I know I attended one in September up at the Surf Visitor Center, but I guess COVID has kind of allowed us to lull into complacency and not actually do virtual ones, which we should start doing. And I know, Tyler, if you're still on, that's something that we probably should reconnect to make sure that we get something going this spring. But in Vancouver, they used to do a lunch downtown on Thursdays because Vancouver's a mining hub and a lot of offices downtown, so they get a lot of alumni and industry people out. And U of A, we used to do a Monday evening event, which was a dinner, which we usually get sponsorship for, so the students can have a pretty reduced rate. So, great suggestion, and I'll definitely add that to something to start doing again.
I think, let's see if there's any other questions or comments. Dr. Hall? Okay. So I'm going, so thank you guys. I'll give it a few more minutes. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, the Q&A box. Oh, looks like we might have had, oh,
Oh, yeah, he doesn't want it read yet.
okay.
Thanks, Tony. I'm looking forward to meeting you. Brad Johnson and I have threatened to bug you, and I'm happy to come visit you as well if that's something you're open to. So definitely
Yeah.
want to touch base.
So,
And I've
yeah,
offered that to anyone else that if you want to connect with me individually, drop me an email. We can set up a Zoom meeting, or if you're close, we can meet if you're comfortable with that. Yeah, I'm interested in hearing all of your ideas and trying to get as much help as I can.
okay. I think we're good. Let's see. Yep. So yeah, thank you guys for attending our first department digital update. I'm gonna drop a survey in the chat box here. If you could fill it out, we appreciate your feedback. If there's any suggestions on different topics or things you'd like to see, please put that in the survey. And then I'd like to give another shameless plug, if I can, for our next digital lunch and learn. So these are our monthly professional webinars. The next one is February 18th. It's a Thursday at 11 o'clock. If you're interested in or can able to attend, 2 alumni, Don Fendrick, EE 89, and then Greg Henshin, EE 99 are going to talk about technical sales. So, and how you could use that. So, yes. Well, thank you.
Thanks everyone for attending. Sorry, Sarah. Thanks, Sarah, for setting this up. I think it's great. You know, and even when we go back to in-person activities, it might be still worth doing some of these virtual events for people that can't travel. So
yes, it went really well. So thank you. Thank you for being my first one.
Us Canadians, we like to be the guinea pigs.
I appreciate it. Okay.